Picture this: the faint hum of a lawnmower in the distance, the scent of jasmine carried on a warm breeze, and the rhythmic tap of my sneakers against the pavement as I step outside my home. I'm Brooke, 28, living in a snug little corner of a Miami suburb where every street looks like it's been plucked from a postcard. My life, at a glance, is a neatly framed snapshot of perfection. I've got the pastel-walled house with a lawn so manicured it could star in a gardening magazine. I've got Jason, my husband of 5 years, who's the kind of man who can light up a room with his easy charm and quick smile. He's a financial analyst, always crunching numbers and sealing deals, but somehow he still finds time to be my rock. We're that couple, the ones who host neighborhood barbecues, who laugh over mimosas at brunch, who wave to everyone as if we've got not a care in the world. Our mornings, especially on Saturdays, are my favorite. I can still see it now. Sunlight streaming through the kitchen window, casting golden patterns on the countertop as we sip our coffee. Jason's got his tablet open, skimming the news, while I'm flipping through a magazine or just watching the way the light catches in his hazel eyes. It's quiet, comfortable, the kind of moment you want to bottle up and keep forever. Our home feels like a sanctuary. Soft beige furniture, framed photos of our beach vacations, and a little herb garden on the windowsill that I somehow manage not to kill outside. The palm trees sway lazily, and the air is always just a touch salty from the nearby ocean. It's the kind of life people dream about, the kind I sometimes have to pinch myself to believe is mine. And then there's Madison, my closest friend, who's as much a part of this picture as the pastel walls. She's striking. Tall, athletic, with a sharp wit that can cut through any awkward silence. Her dark hair is always pulled back in a sleek ponytail, and she's got this energy about her, like she's always ready to take on the world. We met years ago at the local tennis club, and now she's a regular in our lives, joining us for matches or just hanging out on our patio with a glass of iced tea. She's the kind of friend who knows your quirks and calls you out on them, but in a way that makes you laugh instead of cringe. Between her, Jason, and me, we've got this little trio of camaraderie that feels unbreakable. I've always been a creature of habit, finding solace in the predictable. The same coffee order, the same walking route, the same weekend plans, brunch, barbecue, tennis, repeat. There's a rhythm to it all, a steady beat that keeps me grounded. But lately, there's this undercurrent in my chest, a faint hum of something I can't quite place. It's not dissatisfaction, not exactly. It's more like a whisper of restlessness, a quiet nudge that I can't ignore as I head out into the blinding Miami sun. Today, like most weekends, I'm meeting Madison at the tennis club, and as I pull into the parking lot, I spot her waiting by the entrance, racket slung over her shoulder like it's an extension of her arm. The heat is already pressing down on me as I step out of the car, a heavy, humid blanket that makes my skin prickle the moment I'm out in the open. The air smells of freshly cut grass, sharp and green, mixing with the faint tang of sunscreen as we make our way toward the courts. The midday sun is relentless, turning the white lines of the court into a glaring, almost blinding grid that seems to shimmer in the haze. Madison walks ahead of me, her stride confident and purposeful, like she owns every inch of this place. Her ponytail swings with each step, catching the light in a way that makes the dark strands gleam. I can't help but notice the way she stretches as we reach the court. Her movements fluid and assured, her tank top clinging just slightly to her frame as she bends to adjust her shoelaces. There's a focus in her eyes as she grips her racket, testing its weight, her gaze narrowing like she's already plotting every shot she's about to make. I shake my head, trying to focus on my own prep, but there's something about her presence that pulls at my attention in a way I can't quite pin down. We start playing, and the rhythm of the game takes over. The thwack of the ball against the strings echoes in the still air, a sharp, satisfying sound that punctuates every swing. My sneakers scuff against the hard court, kicking up tiny clouds of dust as I pivot and lunge, chasing down each return. Sweat trickles down my neck, stinging my eyes as I squint against the glare, my muscles tensing with every hit. My arms burn with the effort, my breath coming in quick, shallow bursts. But there's a thrill in it, a raw, physical release that makes me feel alive. Across the net, Madison moves like she's dancing, her steps light but powerful, her swings precise and almost hypnotic. I catch myself watching the way her body shifts, the grace in every motion, the sheer strength behind each strike. It's mesmerizing, and for a split second, I forget to move, the ball sailing past me. "Hey, Brooke, you planning to hit that ball or just stare at it?" Madison calls out, her voice teasing as she jogs to retrieve the stray shot. Her grin is wide, her eyes sparkling with mischief under the harsh sunlight, and I can't help but laugh, shaking off the moment. "Sorry, guess I'm still waking up," I shoot back, wiping the sweat from my brow with the back of my hand. "Not all of us are machines like you," she laughs. A bright, carefree sound that cuts through the heat, and we keep going, trading shots. As the last rally ends, I'm panting, my chest heaving as I lean over, hands on my knees, trying to catch my breath. The court feels like it's radiating heat, the sun baking every inch of exposed skin. Madison tosses me a water bottle, and I catch it with a shaky hand, the cold plastic a small relief against my palm. We head off the court together, our footsteps slower now, the adrenaline of the game draining away. The tennis club is buzzing with other players, but as we make our way to the locker room, the noise fades behind us. By the time we push through the heavy door, the space is eerily quiet, the other players already gone, leaving just the echo of our steps on the tiled floor. The air in here is heavy, thick with the lingering scent of sweat mixed with the faint, floral hint of lavender body wash. It's a strange contrast, sharp and soft all at once, and it clings to the back of my throat as I drop my racket by the bench. Madison sits down beside me, closer than usual, her shoulder just a breath away from mine. I can feel the heat still radiating from her after the match, her skin flushed from exertion. She's peeling off her wristband, the slow, deliberate motion drawing my eye as her fingers work the fabric free. Her damp hair clings to the nape of her neck, stray strands curling slightly against her skin, and I'm suddenly hyper-aware of every tiny detail. The way her chest rises and falls with each breath, the subtle shift of her weight as she adjusts the towel draped over her lap, the brush of her fingers against her thigh. My own breath feels caught somewhere in my chest, a tightness I can't shake. I felt this before, this pull, this unspoken thing that tugs at me whenever she's near. I've always pushed it down, buried it under layers of routine and denial, telling myself it's nothing, just a fleeting thought. But sitting here now, in this quiet, charged space, that denial feels flimsy, like a thread about to snap. My hand moves before I can stop it, almost as if it's acting on its own. I reach out, my fingers brushing against her arm, lingering there longer than they should. Her skin is warm, slick with a faint sheen of sweat, and the contact sends a jolt through me, electric and terrifying. My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure she can hear it, a frantic drumbeat in the silence. I expect her to pull away, to laugh it off, or give me that teasing look she always does when I'm being weird, but she doesn't. Instead, she turns her head, her eyes meeting mine. And there's something there. Surprise, yes, but also something deeper. Something unspoken that mirrors the storm inside me. Her gaze holds mine, steady and searching. And I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of a cliff, one wrong move away from falling. I shift closer, the bench creaking under my weight, my voice barely a whisper as I speak, more to myself than to her. I've wanted this, for longer than I can remember. The words tremble as they leave my lips, raw and unguarded, a confession I never meant to make out loud. My mind is screaming at me to stop, to pull back, to think about Jason, about the life I've built, about everything I stand to lose. But my body doesn't listen. I lean in, closing the last inch of space between us, and then I'm kissing her. My lips press against hers, tentative at first, testing, waiting for the rejection I'm sure is coming, but it doesn't. She kisses me back, her response immediate and sure, her hand finding the back of my neck, pulling me closer. The world narrows to this moment, to the warmth of her mouth, the softness of her touch, the way everything else just falls away. A rush of emotions crashes over me, each one sharper than the last. There's desire, hot and urgent, burning through every nerve in my body. There's exhilaration, a dizzying high that makes my head spin, like I've just unlocked something I'd done. The moment after the kiss feels like the world has stopped spinning, like time itself is holding its breath. I pull back, my lips still tingling, my heart hammering so loud it drowns out everything else. The locker room is suffocatingly silent. The only sound the distant, muffled hum of a lawnmower outside, a reminder of the normalcy I've just shattered. I can't look at Madison, not yet. My eyes drop to the tiled floor, tracing the grout lines as if they hold some kind of answer. I feel her presence beside me, the heat of her still lingering in the space between us. But neither of us moves. Neither of us speaks. It's as if we're both afraid that saying anything will make this real, will force us to confront what just happened. I stand up abruptly, my movements jerky, almost mechanical, as I start gathering my things. My hands tremble as I shove my towel into my bag, the fabric catching on the zipper like it's fighting me. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Madison doing the same, her motions just as hurried, just as tense. We're avoiding each other's gaze, pretending to be absorbed in packing up, but the air is thick with unspoken questions, heavy with the weight of what we've done. I can still feel the ghost of her touch on my neck, the memory of her lips against mine, and it sends a shiver down my spine that I can't suppress. What have I done? The thought loops in my mind, relentless, a broken record I can't turn off. My mind races as I sling my bag over my shoulder, the strap digging into my skin like a punishment. Jason's face flashes before me, unbidden. His trusting smile, the way his hazel eyes crinkle at the corners when he laughs, the little notes he leaves on the fridge when he's working late, always signed with a lopsided heart. Dinner's in the oven, love you. I can see the words in his messy scrawl, and a knot forms in my stomach, tight and unyielding. We've built a life together, a beautiful, steady life filled with quiet mornings and shared dreams. Our home, with its soft beige furniture and framed photos of us grinning on sandy beaches, feels like a sanctuary I've just desecrated. How could I do this to him? To us? The guilt is a living thing, clawing at my insides, tearing through the thrill that still lingers in my veins. I'm torn in two, caught between the rush of what I felt with Madison and the crushing dread of what this could mean. We finally leave the locker room, stepping into the harsh sunlight outside the tennis club. The heat hits me like a wall, but it does nothing to melt the ice in my chest. Madison walks a step ahead, her posture stiff, her racket swinging at her side. As we reach the parking lot, she slows down, turning just enough to glance at me over her shoulder. Her voice is soft, cautious, like she's testing the waters. "Hey, Brooke, you okay?" I open my mouth to respond, but the words stick in my throat. Am I okay? I don't even know how to begin answering that. My emotions are a tangled mess, a storm I can't navigate. I manage a weak nod, mumbling something vague, barely audible. Yeah, I'm fine, just need to get home. It's a lie, and I'm sure she knows it, but she doesn't push. She just gives me a small, uncertain smile, her eyes searching mine for a moment before she turns away. We part ways without another word, her figure receding toward her car as I head to mine, the silence between us louder than ever. I slide into the driver's seat, the leather hot against my skin, and toss my tennis racket onto the passenger seat. It lands with a dull thud, a stark reminder of the day's events, of the line I've crossed. I grip the steering wheel, my knuckles whitening as I stare out the windshield, not really seeing anything. The engine hums to life when I turn the key, but I don't move right away. I just sit there, frozen, the hum of the engine vibrating through me like a heartbeat I can't control. My mind is a whirlwind, replaying every second of what happened at the tennis club, the feel of Madison's lips still haunting me, a memory I can't shake no matter how hard I try. I force myself to put the car in gear, pulling out of the parking lot with a heaviness in my chest that makes every turn feel like a chore. The drive home is a blur, the palm-lined streets and pastel houses passing by in a haze, as if I'm watching someone else's life through a foggy window. All I can think about is Jason, waiting for me at home, completely unaware of the storm I'm carrying inside. When I finally pull into the driveway, the sight of our house, those familiar pastel walls, the neatly trimmed lawn, hits me like a punch. It's supposed to be my safe haven, but right now, it feels like a cage. I sit in the car for a moment longer, gripping the steering wheel, trying to steady my breathing. I can't let him see me like this. Can't let him sense the chaos beneath my skin. I force myself to get out, the late afternoon heat still clinging to the air, as I sling my bag over my shoulder and head to the front door. Each step feels heavier than the last, like I'm wading through quicksand, my guilt dragging me down. I push the door open, and the smell of garlic and herbs greets me, warm and comforting, a stark contrast to the cold dread in my bones. I hear Jason before I see him, his low, cheerful humming drifting from the kitchen, some old tune I can't quite place. I drop my bag by the door and walk in, my sneakers silent against the hardwood floor. There he is, standing at the stove, stirring a pot of pasta sauce, his sleeves rolled up to his elbows, a dish towel slung over his shoulder. He turns as he hears me, and his face lights up with that warm, effortless smile that always makes my heart ache in the best way. His hazel eyes crinkle at the corners, full of genuine joy just to see me, and I feel like the worst person in the world. "Hey babe, how was the match?" he asks, his voice light and curious as he sets the wooden spoon down and wipes his hands on the towel. He steps closer, leaning in to kiss my cheek, and I freeze for a split second, terrified he'll somehow sense the truth on my skin. But he doesn't. He just pulls back, still smiling, waiting for my answer, like everything is perfectly normal. I force a smile of my own, but it feels brittle, like it might crack at any moment. "It was fine," I manage to say, though my voice wavers, betraying me with a small, unsteady tremor. I clear my throat, grasping for an excuse. "Just really hot out there today. I'm pretty wiped." It's a weak lie, but he doesn't seem to notice, just nods with a sympathetic look. "Yeah, it's brutal out there. Go cool off. I've got dinner almost ready," he says, turning back to the stove, completely oblivious to the war raging inside me. I stand there for a moment, watching him, the way he moves with such ease, so at home in this life we've built together. It's a life I've loved, a life I thought I wanted forever, and now I've tainted it with a secret I don't know how to carry. I go through the motions, trying to anchor myself in the mundane. I set the table, my hands moving automatically as I place the plates and silverware, the clink of porcelain against wood, sounding louder than it should. In the quiet space of my mind, I pour a glass of water, the cool liquid sliding down my throat, but it does nothing to ease the burning knot in my chest. Every small action feels like a performance, a desperate attempt to act normal when nothing about me feels normal anymore. Inside, my thoughts are screaming, a relentless cacophony of guilt and confusion. I keep seeing flashes of Madison, the intensity of that moment in the locker room. I wake up the next morning with a heaviness in my chest that sleep couldn't shake. The events of yesterday at the tennis club replay in my mind like a broken record, each moment sharper than the last. I can still feel the heat of the court, the echo of the ball against the racket, and that forbidden, electric touch in the locker room. My eyes flutter open to the soft gray light filtering through the bedroom curtains, and for a fleeting second, I hope it was all a dream. But the ache in my gut tells me otherwise. I roll over, seeing Jason's side of the bed already empty, the sheets cool to the touch. The faint sound of the shower running down the hall confirms he's up, getting ready for work, moving through our routine as if nothing has changed, but everything has changed. At least for me. I drag myself out of bed, my limbs feeling like they're made of lead, and shuffle to the bathroom. Standing in front of the mirror, I barely recognize the woman staring back at me. My eyes are shadowed, hollowed out by a night of restless tossing and turning. My hair is a tangled mess, framing a face that looks pale despite the Miami sun I'm so used to. I grip the edge of the sink, my knuckles whitening, and lean closer, searching for some sign of the person I was just 24 hours ago. That Brooke, the one who laughed easily, who knew her place in this perfect little life, feels like a stranger now. I splash cold water on my face, the shock of it doing little to clear the fog in my mind. Who am I now? The question lingers, unanswered, as I dry my face with a towel that smells faintly of Jason's cologne. A scent that twists the knife of guilt deeper into my chest. I hear the bathroom door down the hall creak open and Jason's footsteps approach. I force myself to straighten up, to smooth out the turmoil on my face before he sees me. He appears in the doorway, already dressed in a crisp button-down and slacks, his hair still damp from the shower. He looks so put together, so unaware of the storm raging inside me, and it makes my heart ache. "Morning, babe," he says, his voice warm as he steps closer, leaning down to press a gentle kiss to my forehead. His lips are soft, familiar, a gesture of love that I've always cherished. But today, it feels like a weight I can't bear. I manage a small smile, hoping it doesn't look as forced as it feels, and mumble a quiet, "morning" in return. He lingers for a moment, his hand resting lightly on my shoulder, his hazel eyes searching mine with that quiet concern he always has when he thinks I'm off. "You sure you're okay? You seemed out of it last night," he asks, his tone gentle but probing. But I nod too quickly, the motion jerky, and turn away to fiddle with the towel, avoiding his gaze. "Yeah, just tired. Didn't sleep great," I lie, my voice thinner than I'd like. He doesn't push, thank God, just gives my shoulder a reassuring squeeze before stepping back. "All right, well, I've got to run. Big meeting today, I'll see you tonight, okay? Love you." His words are a routine comfort, but they sting like never before. I echo a soft, "love you too," watching him grab his briefcase from the hall and head out the door. The sound of it clicking shut behind him feels final, like a barrier snapping into place between the life we've built and the truth I'm hiding beneath this brittle facade. Alone now, the house feels too quiet, the silence pressing in on me like a physical force. I wander into the kitchen, the sunlight streaming through the window, just as it always does, painting golden streaks across the countertop. But the warmth doesn't reach me. I pour a cup of coffee from the pot Jason left on, the bitter aroma doing little to wake me from this daze. My mind is still spinning, caught in an endless loop of yesterday's choices. I've always thought of myself as someone who had it all figured out, someone who knew exactly where I was headed. But now, standing in the quiet kitchen, I realize that perhaps it's time to embrace the uncertainty and let life surprise me. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. If you enjoyed this story, this will help us create more engaging stories for you.